Welcome to the Irrigation Station.
My name is Tom Garbett.
I'm Lance Cannell. So we've already talked about our valves being stuck on and turning them off. And today we're going to talk about our valves being off and struggling to get them on. So Tom, what are some of the problems that we face when our valves won't turn on?
Main reason we ever find that a valve won't turn on is generally an electrical issue. So what we suggest doing, first thing, go out to your valve box and just turn your valve on manually, either from the solenoid or the bleed screw, by turning it a quarter turn counterclockwise. If you can turn it on manually and it runs normally, then you've confirmed that it is an electrical issue.
Okay, so let's say I have that electrical issue. What are some of the steps that I can take in order to start troubleshooting this problem?
So the first thing we suggest you do is just follow the wires. So we've wired this up for this example right here. We've got our solenoid here. The wire runs into this wire nut, and then we're going to pretend that this wire goes back to the timer. So what we want to do is we want to take this wire nut off, and I will mention that this wire nut is a grease-filled, so it's silicone-filled waterproof wire nut, which you should always be using for irrigation. And this is something that you can pick it up from our website. So we're just going to take the nut off, and we're just going to take a look at the splice here. So you can see the splice. You just check for corrosion, if anything that might be stopping the electrical signal from running together. And we're just going to make sure that the splice is nice and tight. So the splice can't really move. It's wired up together properly. It's good to go. If it wasn't, you would want to either cut back the corrosion and rewire it down here somewhere, or maybe you just want to twist it up a little bit tighter. Once you're done that, you just put the wire nut back on and put it back.
Okay, that sounds simple enough. Let's say I can't get any of the valves to start. What do we do then?
In a situation where none of the valves would work, but they all work manually, like I mentioned before, you would be assuming that there's an issue with the common wire. Now, the difference between the wires is this is just a zone wire. It's for one valve. A common wire connects all of the valves together and then runs back to the timer. So what you'd want to do is the exact same thing as you'd find your common connection. It's generally pretty easy because there's so many wires. And just take that nut off again. Again, we're using the silicone-filled wire protectors here. And we just take a look at this splice. Now, one of the biggest issues we find is because this is one common wire connected to so many valve wires, sometimes they can be loose and easy to pull apart. What you want to do, same thing, is just make sure that there's no corrosion on any of the wires. Sometimes it can be hard because there is a little bit of silicone left over there, so you might need to wipe some of it off. Make sure it's twisted up really nice, and if it is, you can put your wire nut back on there and test the system.
That sounds pretty simple as well. So let's say I can't get any of this stuff to work. What do you suggest I do then?
If you have tested all your splices, everything looks good, and you can't find a reason why your system won't work electronically, it could be a more complicated issue. At that point, we do suggest that you give us a call or book an appointment on our website and get a service technician out there to take a look.
Thanks, Tom. I'm Lance Cannell.
And I'm Tom Garbett.
Thank you on behalf of NIAD for watching.